Welcome to Pabu, my home away from home.
Family reunion, got to have a family reunion.
If you're going to be in the LA area on Saturday, December 2nd, make sure you swing by and check out LA Comic Con. Not only is it your chance to attend a fun con and see some amazing cosplay and meet up with good friends, but you can also come see us, the Dad Batch, live on stage. Come check out the con and then make your way to panel room 405 by 4 p.m. and see your favorite Space Daddies record a live episode of the Dad Batch podcast on stage. Our Dad Batch family reunion events are all about you, our listeners, and this is our chance to meet you in person. We love to put faces to names and meet our friends who we otherwise may have only ever known online. Costumes are encouraged, and make sure you come ready to show off what you have on your workbench, talk about what you're following in the news, and meet your fellow fans and community members. Again, come see the Dad Batch live at LA Comic Con on Saturday, December 2nd at 4 p.m. in panel room 405.
I don't believe it. That's Clone Force 99.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting.
Ha! We're all you need.
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hey there, Dad Batchers. Welcome to a special Thanksgiving Day edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 67. My name is Stevie Kicks, and the Space Daddies and myself are going to get some rest this week and enjoy some turkey. We wanted to say that we are so very thankful for your support of the show, listening to the podcast each and every week, watching the YouTube channel and live streams, and following the socials. This show would not exist if it wasn't for you. With your support of the show, we've helped raise money for various charities, helped fans of the franchise create their first costumes, and even helped somebody get married. The Dad Batch fans are the best fans in the galaxy, this one and far, far away. We've put together a special episode today of some of our most fond memories from this past year and can't wait to be back with you all next week. Sit back, relax, or get back in the kitchen and make sure that turkey doesn't overcook. And thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. If you'd like to rep your support for the show, pick up a new and exclusive Space Daddy Tech shirt and stickers at thedadbatch.com.
In some ways, mental illness touches everyone. You may have a family member, friend, or child who is living with mental illness. For children especially, the statistics are sobering. 1 in 5 children is living with a mental illness, and 50% of all lifetime mental illnesses start by age 14. On Our Sleeves believes in caring for the whole child, that mental health is just as important as physical health. Yet across America, children's mental health is an often overlooked and vastly underfunded component of pediatric health. Worse yet, only one child psychiatrist is available for every 15,000 youths younger than 18. Lack of healthcare resources and funding only complicate and hinder efforts to make significant changes that impact our youth during these critically important formative years. It's time to have a conversation about our children to raise our voices for this important cause. The Dad Batch is partnering with On Our Sleeves through the holiday season to help raise money for this amazing cause. Like last year, every week we will be adding new items to the Chrome Toner Volume 2, and your donation will enter you to win one of 4 prize packages. We will be sorting the items donated into first, second, third, and a grand prize package. And every dollar you donate is another chance to win one of these packages in a special prize drawing episode we will be releasing on Christmas Eve. So please visit the Chromatona Volume 2 donation link available on our website and in our social media bios. And while you're there, make sure you check out the resources they have available to everyone to help you talk about mental health with your kids so we can make sure we're supporting and protecting the world's most precious resource, our children.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly workbench. All right, gentlemen, who is working on what?
I gotta laugh because Steven kind of starting the next segment. That is like, for anybody that watches like old cartoons or like old shows, like that is the equivalent of like the Hook coming out on stage and pulling you off. Like that's what happened. That seems like, okay, we're off the rails.
And you're done.
Go. Then again, nobody ever does that for me when I'm trying to do the news and you guys are all over the place and crazy.
Well, the only one who has control is Steven. We have no control over any sound or panel or anything, so he's the one that needs to be more.
He's the only one with the hook.
Intuitive.
Got it.
Right. Okay. He is the hook.
Gotta have the news, though. That's like my favorite
Gotta
part.
have the news, though.
Since I'm already rambling, I'll go. So, not a shout out to whoever, I don't even know how to say, like Cosrea Cosplay, because they canceled my order for Yondu's soft goods, and I'm very upset about this. And they were like the only ones that still had it listed available. So now I have to figure this out the hard way. So thanks, guys. Thanks. So everybody go boycott Cosrea.
What do you mean the hard way? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna have to make it. So I didn't.
He's gonna have to steal it from someone.
I had to get either red leather or pleather or something, and actually make a ridiculously detailed red trench coat with all those buckles and everything. And I mean, I was going to pull a crosshair and just kind of get the one that you could get and then just make it look good. No such luck. Now I'm going to have to.
I mean, there was those other ones too that were, I mean, they were more expensive. That's the hard part.
Dude, don't do pleather. Don't do a pleather trench coat in Atlanta in August.
Like leather's going to be any better.
I think leather would be better than pleather.
Leather's also going to be like 6 times as expensive as pleather.
They wanted to eat you.
How is the weather while wearing pleather?
They ain't tasted no tearing before. Them boys wanted to eat you.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
So shout out to Heroes and Villains. I've got a Heroes and Villains shirt on, but the reason that I'm talking about this on the workbench is because I made this to go with it. Oh, Steven's got one too.
Nice.
So as you can see, this is
awesome
Boba Fett, and it's all like kind of Japanese style with the writing and everything, but the super stylized color palette. So I have the helmet that goes with. It's just a Black Series helmet that I just repainted.
Perfect.
It matches, like, even you can see sort of the white grill and the orange and brown and then a little bit of black on the cheeks. So I got it.
It kind of looks like Dijon mustard.
You know,
looks great.
For fun, you should take the
Looks
text,
delicious.
the kanji that's on there, and put
it on the helmet.
On the helmet.
Oh, instead of the stripes?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just for fun.
Steve.
Because you painted the helmet. It's not like you're going to change it.
The ideas are just popping right now.
You know what?
Okay.
And then
do that.
I'm going to want you to build that whole costume for Japan.
Hey. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Like,
I mean, at this point, it's just a custom Mando. So
great for fun.
I already got one of those underway still. So
Ray Poupon.
how's that going, by the way, the custom Mando?
still collecting kind of votes and things. I've got, I think the next thing I'm going to put up is the selection poll for shoulder bells, which is going to be heavily peppered with the options that Alpha Ignition can help me with. So, because I know that he's got,
I got to mold
for
those. Yeah.
There's one other style that I think I'm going to throw in the mix there and see what happens. But otherwise, it's going to be the ones that John's got. Will be the choices. So yeah,
Mustard.
That's it for my workbench.
Since Raimi talked about Yondu, I can bring up. I literally, while we were sitting here, I was masking off because I have no time to do anything. So I was masking off the leg rockets for Star-Lord. It's all chromed and clear coated. I realize when I'm shaking this in the camera, no one's going to see it.
Yeah.
Can't tell.
It's clear coated.
Right?
I gave it some Duralim and just some Lowe's clear coat because 2K is not happening, especially for this. So mask these off. I weathered the helmet a little bit, and that's it. It's been.
And you can get 1K, Brian. You don't have to buy 2K because it's pretty pricey.
0.5K.
What's the difference between 1K and 2K paint?
2K is catalyzed. Like it's the two-part.
It's the two-part.
Right.
Thing, and then the 1K is not.
Oh, so 1K is just like a traditional aerosol. It has to flash.
But I think it's still better than like a traditional regular clear coat. Like it's better than a Rust-Oleum clear coat, for example.
I bought the 200 $6 can of Rust-Oleum gloss. No one's looking at my feet. So, and that's where the rockets go, down by your feet. So.
Oh, okay, understood. Okay.
I don't.
That's
need
a 15-foot rule.
I don't need
Steven's
it to look
about to
like.
And then you go a little bit further down.
I don't need it to look like. Look at this sick metal thing. Like what? What is that? What down by your foot? Oh, okay. Got it.
No one's going to be looking at your
Steven's
boots. They're going to be looking at your belt to see if you have the Walkman on.
Exactly.
Nah, I don't need that thing.
Send me the files. I'll print that for you.
It's the one thing you do need.
Dude, you're going to get so much.
Send me the files.
I can't wait to hear all the flack you get from Dragon Con attendees. And they're like, cool Star-Lord. Where's your Walkman?
Nope.
Where's your Sony?
Oh, you don't have the Walkman? Where's your Zune?
Yeah, it's going to be like
when the Walkman?
When I do Din and I don't have Grogu with me. Where's Baby Yoda? All day.
I'm going to have a helmet on.
Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that, dude.
That fin
is sick.
so
that is
badass.
awesome.
It even works with the headphones.
Never take that off.
It works
Never
great.
take that off.
Dude, Raimi, tell us about the paint job that you did on that fin.
Okay. So it's the base is kind of the normal Alumoluster process that we would do. So it's flat black, 2K, Alumoluster, 2K in that order. And then we found, and it was one of you guys that pointed me to the right thing. I think it was you, Steven. Like, so at AutoZone, they sell this kind of paint.
Metal cast.
Yeah, that's right. It's metal cast, and it was a red, basically red. And it's somewhat transparent, but it's also metallic. So when I sprayed it over the Alumoluster, it was just perfect. So I got this and then I black washed it, this part stays silver. So yeah, I mean it looks. I can't think of a process that I could have done on this that would have made it look more like what we see on screen. So I'm super happy with it. That's why I wanted the rest of the costume to be so good, because it's like, this piece is so good. I don't want the rest of it to be bad.
So good.
So we'll figure it out.
Look, man, I'm looking.
Right on.
I'm seeing if I can find you.
Nailed that part. It looks amazing.
So, two things.
Get it.
Recently finished 3 heavies that are in the box, waiting to be delivered back to Jeff for visor install and finishing. He likes to do the felt on the inside still, I think. I think that's what he's doing. He's taking care of it, whatever. And I also, today, I got the news that I got approved in my Ponda Baba that I got from Homeboy Steven.
He doesn't like you.
Welcome to the underworld.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I think I'm number 300. Maybe not. I think you guys need to confirm that for me. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I haven't done much this week other than that, and that's it.
Okay, cool.
Joe, you working on anything? No, nothing on the workbench.
He's just kept quiet.
Nope.
He just didn't say anything.
Super quiet on the workbench. Now, I will say, my friend that I made the spider, I guess, not the Spider-Man mask, but what goes on underneath the mask.
The face shell.
Week. The face shell. So that's for his son. But when he came over to try it on, the son, he saw the father, who I've known in the military, gosh, going back to like the early 90s, literally.
He saw my room and he was freaking out and geeking out, and now he wants to make a biker scout.
Oh,
Nice.
And so he's a huge Marvel, Star Wars. He's all into everything that we're into. So he fits right in. I'm excited because he's coming towards the end of his military career, and he's like, "Dude, I need an outlet." I'm like, "Bro,
awesome. I got
I'm
you.
gonna hook you up.
Yeah.
I got you." But Stevie, I know that's your build, and John hooked me up with I think he said WTF Waltz Trooper
So
Factory.
if you're gonna get a Waltz kit, I would recommend, if you want to like be extra.
This guy's extra, so yes.
Okay, put him on maybe show him the Mandalorian version of the Scout, the Remnant Scout, because the Waltz Trooper Factory kits are the ones that they actually used on the show.
Okay,
That's what
So
I.
that's the one.
That's why I told him that one. I'm like, that's the screen used one for the Mando.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
that's what John said. So
Like if
The
you if
only
you want
the only
that,
problem with that costume is that they used an EFX helmet for the Scout, which is so hard to find.
but you
I'm
can
sorry,
just
not
get a regular.
not hard to find, but they're just expensive. But you could get like an RS helmet, which is probably better looking in my opinion. But yeah,
yep, all good. Yeah, I'll be tapping your guy's shoulder on tips as we guide him, and then his wife is interested in costumes as well. So it's gonna be fun, just kind of working with some friends that
awesome.
are interested. Yeah,
You're all welcome. Welcome. Come to me.
recruiting basically.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing on
especially-
the Workbench. I'm recruiting.
Come to Butthead.
They're cool.
guys, I just sent Jeff the PayPal for my Paz helmet right now.
Yep.
Winner, winner.
Wow.
He's like, hey, does Steven want to pay for this? And I was like, let him know.
No, I don't want to pay.
Yeah, I'm like,
Well,
probably
who
not.
really
but
wants to pay?
What
I
are
mean,
what are the options? And you're better off, dude. Honestly, that's the best dang heavy resin cast I've seen around. And model wise too, I think the model's perfect.
If there's anybody out there who could recommend a maker for the armor, the Paz Vizsla armor, I mean,
Print it.
I can print it.
Yeah.
I can print it, but I'm just
I'll help you.
Who is the
I'll help you,
Who is the
Sam.
Paz in Anaheim?
Let's do it
Celebration
together.
in
It's,
Anaheim. He had a
it's
great.
Brent. I think
Brent
E3
Redmond.
printed it.
Brent, but he printed it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
looked
his is
amazing. He did such a good
I don't
job
think
of
there's
that.
any-
The
makers.
the only version that I've seen that I know of who makes a kit is Jamiroquai's, but his was like a V1 kit from like 2019. And so it's pre-battle damage. It's like a smooth.
If you want the
kit.
battle damage, you're going to have to print it because nobody's got that yet. It's just too new. Nobody's had time to make the box.
I know.
So,
Well, take my credits.
When your printer's working,
yeah.
work your printer.
You got that room set up next door?
So a little something different on my workbench this week, guys. I worked on a 3D printed e-bike motorcycle cover, like fuselage cover for a friend.
Now it's coming together.
It was so let me give you guys a little backstory here. So there's a new e-bike company that's coming out. I shouldn't say they're a new company. They're releasing a new bike in the United States. They're called WOW, W-A-U.
Wow.
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 Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Anytime I hear wow, I have to say that a million times. Wow. I'm glad we all felt the same.
So they have a new bike. It's
rad.
It was inspired by the Cybertruck, so it's called the Cyber Bike, and it looks very angular like that. And so, instead of like a traditional bike or e-bike that's made out of like a steel frame, they've literally taken one giant bike-sized block of aluminum and CNC'd the whole thing into a bike frame.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It is sexy. So they invited me out to Santa Monica last week, and they let me do a test ride on it, and I gave them some feedback. And one of the other people that did a test drive dropped the bike. And when you have a one of one bike, everything on there is bespoke, 3D printed, all that stuff. So the large 3D printed fuselage that they had on the side just smashed on the ground with 100 pounds of force of the bike right behind it, and it just shattered. And it just so happened that while I was there, we had been talking about how my hobby is 3D printing. So later that night, they emailed me the file. I had it printed within 2 days, and we delivered it this morning.
Nice.
And they're up and running, and they get to go do their YouTuber reviews and all that stuff. So shout out to them.
Wow.
Did you tell them that we're the number one
podcast
review,
TV movie review in Norway? Yeah.
Hey, what's a good Norway accent? In Norway. Wait, is it Norway?
No,
dude, you're gonna offend all 6 of our listeners in Norway.
Dude, they're happy right now.
The best part
and
about
we met
that
some
is
of them in London.
This is true.
They love us.
Yeah.
The person that dropped that bike too, they're all, okay, thank you. You can go home now.
Yeah.
Your feedback is appreciated. Thanks.
But it was really cool. It's always like nice to see the enthusiasm of a new startup company, and like it kind of like reminds me like when we get costumers who are first getting into costuming, and they just there's that certain je ne sais quoi, that certain
enthusiasm.
Croissant. The certain croissant. Wow. There's that certain thing that they have, just that energy, that sparkle in their eye. When you're building a new costume or starting a new company. So it's kind of cool.
Wow. So they're sending you 5 free e-bikes, right?
Yeah. So what you're saying
what
is
I heard.
bikes is what you're saying.
They have an Indiegogo that's starting July 25th.
How much are the models?
They haven't released prices
They look
yet,
expensive.
but I would imagine that if it's crafted out of a single piece of aluminum.
That's lofty.
Oh, and the coolest thing on the bike, the whole bike's RGB. So like the frames, like the bike frame and stuff, it has like built-in lights and like a lightsaber would.
Wow.
It's really cool. I'll show you guys later.
Yeah.
Steven, it's aluminium. Come on, bro.
Wow.
Aluminium.
Wow.
Wee.
Wow.
Hey, Raimi. Hey, Raimi.
What?
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
He's right there, Steven. He's right there.
I'm right here. I'm looking at you.
I say, hey, Raimi. You say what?
I know. I was trying to mix it up and it just fell flat. We do this dance every week, and just I was trying to introduce a little spice in the life there, Steven. So we'll start out with a little bit of Pedro Pascal news. So Pedro has signed on to star in Zach Krieger's new movie titled Weapons. Details about the story are vague, but it's been described as an interrelated multi-story horror epic that tonally is in the vein of Magnolia, which was a 1999 actor cram showcase from filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson. So I don't know anything about this, but this is another project. So part of the reason, other than it being Pedro, is just it'll be interesting to see how the filming schedule of this intertwines with the work on Mandalorian season 4. Although I would predict that with everything that he's got going on, really the voiceover, he just needs time in the sound booth to come in and do voices. So I don't think it's that big of an.
I don't think Mando's ever going to take his helmet off again with how well it worked for season 3.
I agree. At least, I mean, it will need to be meaningful if they do it again.
Yeah.
So
Pedro,
and they're looking to begin shooting. Yeah, they're looking to begin shooting of that film in the fall. In the meantime, Pascal's gearing up to go into production on the Gladiator sequel for Ridley Scott.
I told you guys there was a sequel to that.
Yeah,
you guys all thought I was high.
So he is now associated with that. I don't know what his role is, or if it's the lead or supporting role or anything, but he'll be in that. So
Unfortunately, though, it's not the time. It's not the original script where Maximus time travels to the 1940s.
I expect that this will actually the film work that he's doing is going to impact his work on season 2 of The Last of Us more than it will The Mandalorian, since he is obviously not wearing a helmet for that one. So, Ahsoka, a little bit of Ahsoka news. So a lot of these, the next stories kind of all dovetail into each other because Empire Magazine's got a big 20-page spread on Star Wars in general coming up in their summer issue. So Filoni was taught, and the cast did an interview, and they were talking about Ahsoka and Thrawn. So in the modern Thrawn canon novels, Thrawn's sort of set up as an anti-hero. He's not really set up as the bad guy. Like the book's about him, so you don't really want to vision him as this bad guy. But Filoni had this to say about Thrawn and how he is portrayed in Ahsoka, and presumably if he's involved in the film that Filoni's working on in that. So he says he's definitely the bad guy in the New Republic era, in my eyes. When Timothy Zahn wrote Heir to the Empire, Thrawn became this very iconic villain because he was different than anything we'd seen before. He wasn't another helmet-wearing, lightsaber-wielding bad guy, There's a lot to pull to make characters that are like Vader because it's so iconic. But the boldness that Tim had was to make somebody that wasn't like that didn't have these abilities, but could fight in a different way. In the words of Star Wars, the war part of it, him being a Grand Admiral, a leader, a military strategist, a Moriarty archetype, someone that will outthink you, out-strategize you, that really resonated. He's a critical player in this time period. We're fortunate to have that character, and fortunate to have Lars Mikkelsen playing him. So, also in Ahsoka news, so on that same article, Mary Elizabeth Winstead was describing sort of the constant thread that the show has around the notion of found family, saying that it's the through line of the show. The strength that they need to get through what they're facing requires them to come back together and redefine that family. And then Rosario Dawson added, the immediate connection between them is such a strength because you trust that there's history there. You feel it. For the ones that have been anticipating this story to go on for a long time, they're going to feel really happy. So again, I mean, this is essentially a live action continuation of Rebels, which is what a lot of fans have been asking for. So in that same Empire Magazine article, Kathleen Kennedy was asked about kind of the many ongoing projects that we've heard about, but don't really have any update on recently. So when she was asked about working with Ryan Johnson, she said, Ryan and I talk all the time. He just keeps getting more and more successful, and it keeps moving things back further and further. One day we'll figure it out. So that's relative to his film project that's been rumored for a long time. Lando and Rogue Squadron, which were both announced on Disney's Investor Day back in 2020, along with the other project called A Droid Story, which we haven't heard anything about since then. And while we've heard quite a bit about Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron ups and downs, we haven't really heard much about Lando. Back at the time, the only name attached to Lando other than Donald Glover was Justin Simeon, who had previously worked on Dear White People. Since then, Simeon moved on to direct Disney's latest Haunted Mansion film, which comes out this July. And then he's also signed on to direct Flashdance reboot, of all things, and a documentary series with Forrest Whitaker. So it's unclear whether he's still attached to the project or not. But Kathleen Kennedy had this to say about both Rogue Squadron and Lando. She says, Lando is still on the books and Rogue Squadron is still in the books. We want them to be great. So, she's saying, listen, if it takes us longer to make sure that these are the quality that we want, we're happy to let it take longer. That's just how it goes. And since Clayton's got his Acolyte shirt on, we can talk a little bit about some Acolyte news. That's right. So there's only a couple weeks worth of filming, but a full year's worth of post-production to do still on the film. So showrunner Leslie Headland revealed that her original pitch to Kathleen Kennedy for Acolyte was simply Frozen meets Kill Bill. But recently she added, I want to take that revisionist version of female villains that you see in a fairy tale media and tell it through that lens. So she went on to say she insisted the focus will be on female villains, which for her hit especially close to home by saying, when I was a young queer girl, I was just hanging out with Ursula and the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid. As a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes and the villains show up and they're all queer coded, you're like, yes, that's me. As a queer filmmaker, you're going to see some camp inevitably, but I would say that tonally our references are darker. So the series takes place 100 years before Phantom Menace. We knew that, and we're going to see the Sith starting to infiltrate the Jedi Order. And the Jedi are completely blindsided. They don't know this is coming. So the series is going to explore exactly how that happens. And the plot thread that Headland uses is an investigation. It's almost like a crime drama kind of theme. An investigation of a series of mysterious crimes that's kicked off when a former Padawan, which is series lead Amandla Stenberg, reunites with her former master, which is Lee Jung-jae. So now some of this detail, I want to say that they must have talked about this. I didn't get to go to the Acolyte panel in London, so I'm going to say they probably talked more in detail about this. So I don't know how much of this is news, but some of this was new to me. It says the world of the Acolyte is populated by a vast array of Jedi characters, which was also kind of the problem for them. We start with Stenberg's character, who Headland described to Empire as Joan of Arc meets Gogo Yubari, which is the historical character and the 17-year-old character from Kill Bill, respectively. Stenberg added that the character has clay-rolled dreadlocks, which is a North African reference, in the territory of what we had been revealed before, but again, this was news to me. We also have Charlie Barnett as a Jedi Knight, Dean Charles Chapman as a Jedi with supposedly great hair. I'm not sure why the article referenced that, but we'll find out. Daphne Keane as a Thelan, half alien, half human Jedi, who Keane described as David Bowie meets Star Wars. So I'm interested in that one. They said, I have a little mullet. I have horns. It's cute. So we knew that Jonas Suotamo is a Wookiee Jedi. Jodie Turner-Smith is a Force user who's neither Sith nor Jedi. And then finally, Manny Jacinto, just as a regular guy who gets swept up in this Jedi business. And then we've also got Rebecca Henderson as a fan favorite, Vernestra Ruo. I don't know how to say this. Too many vowels in this word. Who made a splash in the High Republic Phase 1 books. So that and Clayton, maybe in your work on the book, didn't work on the High Republic era, but
no,
this Vernestra RWOH, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but apparently that's a character that was in the High Republic. So there's a confirmation right there that we've got a name from a character in the High Republic that's actually going to be a character in making the jump into live action in Acolyte.
And I will say, out of all the Star Wars footage that they showed in London, the Acolyte got me most excited. It looks great.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have here is another quote from Headland. She says, when you're doing something completely original like we are, you want to question the status quo of the era that you live in. What I think is so interesting right now is that everybody thinks they're right. The Jedi really think they're right. And George Lucas tells us that they're wrong in Phantom Menace. They missed a huge aspect of the dark side rising. They just felt like fertile ground to look into what's going on for us all right now. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when we hear the Jedi Council talking about, you know, they're surprised that this has snuck up on them, we're going to see kind of how things broke down and how that started to play out. So that's interesting.
Oh, I wonder if we get to see Yoda.
You would think,
Acolyte,
right?
He's around.
I mean, he's there.
He's what, like 700 years old or something at that point?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't. He's ages. The Acolyte stuff. None of that was. It was the panel only, right? And like none of it's been released.
As far as I know, no, and I don't think, at least I haven't seen it leaked out anywhere.
Right.
It was kind of a teasery sort of clip reel that they put together because, again, they were still shooting, so they had kind of pulled some highlights and added some effects and stuff, and but as the overall look of a series, it was spectacular. I mean, it looked great.
Just a couple more articles here in the news. One little bit on Andor, and this one's quick. So we already knew the Andor season 2. It's 12 episodes, set to have 4 individual 3-episode arcs, with 1 year between each arc. But what we now know is that the final arc literally encompasses the 3 days leading up into Rogue One.
Oh, nice.
So so the show is literally going to lead straight into. You'll be able to watch those last 3 episodes, and then start Rogue One, and it is all just
and
one
that's
thing.
The same way Rogue One leads right into A New Hope, like seamlessly.
Come on, Gilroy has
marathon.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
This is where we get depend undergarments, and you just
just binge it.
It's on Disney Plus, dude. You can pause.
Don't move.
You can go to the bathroom.
No, no, Brian, you don't pause.
We're the dad batch.
Awesome.
We already have depends.
Yeah, exactly. Well, three out of the 5.
Wait,
you
which,
got it.
which one? Which side am I?
I mean, it's the top row. I
You're on
mean,
this side.
You know what I
You're on this
mean?
side.
Like,
You're on this.
You guys
the
are all on the
45 and
bottom
over
for me.
club up here. You know what I mean? Like Steven and John are in a different class.
We had Ben Gay last episode.
Yeah, can we get that out? Where is that? I got that somewhere.
So the last little bit of news, and I'm actually interested because I know, Clayton, you covered this with Scripps, your day job, right? So the Hollywood writer strike. So a little bit of relevant news. So Tony Gilroy, who had previously honored the writers' portion of the strike by stopping his writing duties on Andor, which arguably the writing on paper should have long since been done. But he has also now, as either late yesterday or today, he's ceased all producing activities as well. So, and that's just kind of in solidarity with, which is, we're seeing a lot of, the other unions are honoring the writer's strike by also kind of stopping production.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I know that the scripts are may be technically done, although I know that Tony Gilroy was supposed to appear at a screening, an Andor screening on the Disney lot. This was maybe 2 or 3 days before. It might have actually been the Monday night before they went on strike, and he did not show up to that, presumably because he was writing the rest of these episodes. But again, like, I talked to dozens of writers and sort of got a little more insight into just how shows and movies work when it comes to the writing, and it is a constant ongoing process. I mean, the things need to be rewritten for a variety of reasons over the course of shooting something. So I would be I would think that he would even want to sort of step back and have everything kind of come to a halt, just so they can wait to do it and do it right once everything gets ironed out.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine, as a creator, I would be, it would, I would think it would be incredibly frustrating to sit there and watch, knowing that something needs to be changed or that you could make it better in the moment and not being able to because of the strike. Yeah. And then, so I assume he's probably happy to wait, and everybody's happy to wait and make sure they get the best story in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Takes a village.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the news, and I think that also brings us you've got pressing duties calling, right?
I do have to jump back into it, but thank you for having me on. This was amazing.
Yeah,
and
thank you, and we'll remind everybody to go check out your book, Star Wars Timelines.
Yeah, Star Wars Timelines.
I found it at Barnes & Noble. I walked right in and it was sitting there. So
I have it open. I'm about to hit order. So
excellent. Great. Yeah. And check us out on Scripps News every once in a while. Cool. And we'll come back and we'll do this again soon.
And let's work. Yeah. Let's work on a TK for you. We can make that happen.
That's right.
These guys all can. They're in Southern.
That's
California.
what I got out of this whole thing.
I'll just support them.
TK. You're making a TK, and we recorded it, so it's.
Oh, and we can help you build and you can document it.
We can do it as a story for sure. Yeah, because I don't want to do the thing where you just like buy everything and have somebody do it for you. I understand the ethos of doing this is putting in the work to actually do it, and that sort of. It's much more rewarding, I think.
You can do it too, especially with help. It's really like when people always ask me like, "Oh, how do you build this?" Whatever, and I go, "It can." A stormtrooper is like building a model.
I'm all thumbs.
When you're a kid, you build a model car, a model plane, a model Star Wars ship. Building a stormtrooper is not that much different. It's just on a bigger scale. So
sweet.
It's the same book. It's the same book.
I think you would find it.
Thanks, Clayton. Have a good one.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Clayton,
thanks for having me, guys.
Before you leave, Clayton, let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can watch us on Scripps News. We're all around the country streaming all your favorite streaming services or scriptsnews.com. I'm also on Twitter for the time being until it implodes at Clayton_Sandell and on Instagram at Clayton Sandell, no spaces or anything. So one of those places you should be able to track me down.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on with us.
Thanks, gents. Good luck.
All right.
Thanks.
May the force be with you.
Thank you.
May the force be with you. See you later. Bye.
Why did you make me do this?
Guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
My father, he go toilet on my hands.
Oh my God.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius, staves off the frostbite.
How is this relevant?
You know, fathers.
This week, I chose something random that I happened to catch on Amazon Prime. It's called Crazy Samurai 400 versus 1. And it's basically a one-take, 77-minute long battle between one dude and 400 other
It's Musashi.
men.
Musashi, who's like the greatest samurai ever. And I was the first one to watch this too, by the way. I would like to
you were the first one.
State that for the record. I was the first
Well,
one.
I started it yesterday, and then I didn't
watch it in its entirety.
Continue until today. Yeah.
I had a 4-hour drive this morning, and I had it on while it was.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So who caught that? I know Brian did. Joe did.
I think we all watched it.
Did you watch it, Ramey?
Unfortunately.
I deserve the right to go first since I watched it first.
Hold on.
I didn't, but I saw a screenshot and I was told it
Can
was
I-
very repetitive, so I'm going to assume
Can
that
I
I
go
saw
first?
it.
If you saw
right, hold
a
on, Brian,
screenshot,
hold on, okay.
multiply that by however many seconds.
77 minutes.
Let's let
yeah. Okay. So hold on. Okay. So
ahead.
Brian, go ahead. You can tell me what you thought first. Go ahead.
Well, no, set it up. You
Well, I want to set it up. Yeah. So, I mean, like you've just heard everyone sort of say, it is a bit redundant. There is a lot of because there's only so many moves.
But let's hold on. There's the history that I read of it that this was filmed in 2008.
Okay.
Or 2007.
The first part.
No. That whole scene was filmed in like 2008.
The fight
and
scene.
It sat dormant. The fight scene. The 70s.
There's two fight scenes though.
Yes, but the long one, which is one cut,
Yes.
right? So it's
Right.
a 77-minute fight scene. That's one take. There's no edits through the whole thing. That was filmed in 2008, and it sat dormant. And through a Kickstarter campaign, they raised some money in 2020, 2021.
Yeah,
What's
because
so
it's
funny?
2021 when it came out again.
Yeah. They Kickstarter raised the money. They added the CGI effects and then filmed some extra scenes. So
great
so,
CGI.
No. So listen. So the
It's the
movie
blood.
starts
It's the blood.
with like a backstory. You know, they kind of explain who there's this kid and this old man, and they're kind of going through it. And then all of a sudden, it jumps to this fight scene. It just starts. The dude shows up, and they're like, "There he is! Let's kill him!" You know. And go ahead.
So I love me some samurai movies. If you've seen 13 Assassins, which we'll have to talk about at some point in time, that is an amazing movie. Like I will say, the dude, Raimi's cat.
Raimi's cat.
What's up with your cat, dude?
Can you barbecue one of those? Like, what's going on?
No.
Sorry, I meant to have it muted.
The concept of it is beautiful. The single take shot is awesome. The costumes, the accuracy is, I'm a Japanese connoisseur, samurai connoisseur. I thought it was beautiful. I thought the camera angles were awesome. One guy fighting 400 people. He killed people 3 different ways. It was either a overhead chop to the top of the head.
Yeah.
Or it was
sliced to the gut.
Running at him with their arms over their sword over their head, running straight at him, and he would just slice
right in their stomach.
There was one other way too. I can't remember, but those two were like, so he killed about 300 people in that same way. So about 15 minutes in, you're like, I mean, there's 10 dudes behind him. Just stab
let me
him
add
in the
to that.
back.
Let me add to that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I would say probably traditional Japanese samurai fighting. It's probably very one-on-one. It's not, they're not going to stab you in the back because that's not respectful. But okay. And one other thing, when it started raining, did you notice it only rained over like a circle.
Yeah.
The rain machine is like over.
It's just a shower head, right?
You can see it in the back. It's dry.
Some dude off camera with
Let me add to the fight commentary. I also noticed the same 4 or 5 guys were always at the front line, like the same dude in the same clothes with the same exact stance and face would basically engage, die, kind of crawl out of the the scene, and they'd run off. That was it. One way, and he'd be ready again.
He would gut him. He would gut him, and they would like stumble
they would
off
crawl
to the
off.
side.
And that's another thing I noticed. Every single person in the first hour doesn't die and just stay there. They all crawl off because they're all peeling back in to join the fight again. Which is
so. Even though it was 1 against 400, it was really 1 against maybe 8, and it was just the same 8 over and over and over.
20, and then only 10 of them actually fight, and the rest are kind of in the background, like looking menacing.
But I will say, when he fights the like quote unquote bosses, like when he comes
the boss fights,
you guys that are like the boss fights, like those are sick. After the fight in the rain is sick, even though it's underneath the shower head. And then when it fast forwards to the new scene, which all of a sudden, like, wow, their fighting is so much more dynamic.
Because
that's 8 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciated the concept and where they were going with it. I think there was too many just like, come on, like parts in it to make me want to keep it. I'm not disappointed I watched it. I watched it while I was driving, which means I half paid attention to it. And it was nice because there was no, because I watched it in Japanese, but they didn't talk at all.
Right. I put subtitles on it, and like by 3/4 of the movie, there's no dialogue.
Yes. I think if you were limited
on
on time and you want to watch a samurai movie, I would recommend 13 Assassins over this.
Yeah, no, this is the type of movie.
I'm not disappointed I watch it.
You can watch this like as a background thing. Like I was like taping up helmets today and getting them ready to paint, and I had this on, and like you don't miss anything because he'll fight and you're watching it, and it's the same move, and then you can look down and look back up, and it's the same move, and he pauses for a minute. He'll like wipe his hair out of his face or like the sweat. And then they'll go again.
Water.
Yeah. He'll stand up like this for a minute and then just belly slices for half an hour.
I tell you, the single shot thing though, I mean, the single shot, the accuracy of the costumes and how they looked, I would say is phenomenal.
And the dude is exhausted by the end. You can see him like huffing and puffing.
I want to know how they got dirt and blood on him and stuff, because
that's what I was wondering too. I'm like, they didn't cut. It's the same.
And how about his break? How about his break?
When the guy runs off screen, he's putting some jam on his arm,
yeah.
and then he rubs them. That's in a fight. It just keeps adding more and more. It's just
no,
weathering.
All of a sudden, he's got like blood, and you know, he's hurt. His arm is hurt at one point. His leg is hurt at one point.
I want to know. I literally, while I was watching it, there's the part where he kind of takes a break. Right, where he like
he drinks water. He has some water.
And those no, but he runs off, and then like 2 dudes start arguing. Like 2 of the bad guys start arguing, and he disappears for a while. I'm like, what's he doing? Is he drinking a protein shake? Is he eating some sushi? Like, what's he doing?
Like, the craft services getting something to drink.
Eating a sandwich, sitting down.
Yeah.
This reminded me. The reason why I was not impressed is because I have 2 boys. And I just remember when they're like 7 and 10 with 2 sticks.
You've seen these moves before.
Just beating the crap out of each other for not 77 minutes, but like 77 hours nonstop. And then come to find out, one of them was recording it the whole time. Hey, Dad, check out this movie that we made. And it's the same thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, boys.
So you saw the prequel.
Wow, cool. Oh yeah, I saw the making of it.
You saw that behind the scenes,
basically. Behind the scenes, yeah.
Oh, and then the other move is
I can't get that time back.
The circular. Ting.
No, that was There was two. I know that the 2 specific,
or just the blocking, because he would just block
to the head, where he would hit the guy in the head, a little bit of blood would come out, and then it was
it's like
the gut cut. Yeah,
I
mean, there was moments where there'd be like 20 dudes would run at him in single file.
Stomach. Stomach.
The one time I was excited was when the little boy looks up at a butterfly.
Oh.
And the ninja comes out of a tree and slices him right in his head. I'm like, yes!
That
was my one.
in the same moment. In the same
Would
that was my one yes.
No,
and then the rest went downhill.
Would it fast forward 7 years forward when he was older and those dudes jumped him and he murked all of them and it was like an Avengers movie. He was like,
anyone else want to share their thoughts?
I can't get that time.
I'd like to delete this from the hard drive.
Yeah. I mean,
it's taking up too much gig.
I'm gonna keep it.
I'd like to delete it. I'd like to delete it from my memory.
So can I halfway through, I was almost gonna tell all you guys to like forget about it, just because of the redundancy.
I think this is good because usually it's always like home runs or like I talk crap on a bunch of stuff, but I will use this moment to make a recommendation. 13 Assassins, which I believe is on Netflix.
Yeah, don't watch this. Watch what Brian is recommending.
Very R-rated. It's extremely.
Oh, is it on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix. It's called 13 Assassins. Okay. It's very good. There's one like really disturbing part, but it's like quick. But if you want to see 13 samurai take on 400 people and not do the same moves,
is it 400 to 1? I don't know, dude.
It's a lot. Well, it's 13 assassins versus a bunch. It's very, very good. So I highly recommend 13 Assassins.
Is it the number 13 or the word 13?
Positive. The number 13.
Okay.
Is it on Netflix? Do you see it?
I was still looking through that through 400 first one.
Make 10 men feel like 100.
I will tell you, it is amazing. So
is it possible to get negative Rotten Tomatoes?
But look at this. We come out of Hunter's Hard Drive kind of pooping on a video, on a movie, and we're recommending something to replace it. So there you go.
Well,
lemons.
I'm keeping it because I like the concept. And although the execution fell a bit short, I commend
the concept.
The idea.
Yes. The cinematography was amazing.
It was like watching a first player video game.
Yes. It was. Yeah.
Like you're just going through the stages.
Yeah. What was that movie? What was that game called? That samurai game?
Ninja Gaiden?
Ghost of
Steven, it's like you're watching a video game, but there's a glitch because you keep seeing the same scene over and over again.
Hey, it's not on Netflix, Brian.
It's like they only rendered 6 assassins.
And they keep coming back. Brian, that movie's not on Netflix.
It's not? All right. Look it up, though. It's somewhere. It's on something.
13 Assassins.
13 Assassins. I still want to know, when homie took a break, what did he do? Did he sit down? Did he get a foot massage?
Got some grub. Got some cream.
Did he have a shake? Did he have a Coca-Cola? What did he have?
Some rushi. He got some rushi real quick.
Some rushi.
Which is short for rushed sushi, for those who...
Let me tell you, I think this is one of the best Hunter's hard drives ever.
For your information, the stinger of a Yalvik queen is a delicacy on some planets.
So a couple of weeks back, on the grams, on my stories, is how I like to connect with a lot of the people, the followers of the Bad Batch and the Dad Batch, I should say.
Man of the people.
The people, right? And so asked a question, hey, what questions do you have? And I have some, there were about 20 really good questions, and I kept a few more. And so I want to ask this group some of these questions. I got 3 lined up. We don't have to go through all 3. Let's start with an easy one, a super easy one. Favorite meal choice for the Space Daddies, quote. And that came from tootall_76. I already know Steven's. Guessing sushi.
Dude, easy. Sushi.
Duh.
I'm torn between 2. I love sushi, and I also love Korean barbecue.
How much do you love Korean barbecue, John? Like
this
how
much? This much. Check out that tattoo.
He's got. So when I first met John, we were talking about Korean barbecue or something. I don't even remember what it was. It just
it was at Kevin's sale, wasn't it?
Kevin Weir sale or something like that. You're like, oh, dude, I love Korean barbecue. And you're like, look. And you have a tattoo of it on your arm.
I like it a lot. It's very yummy. And I grew up I grew up with one of my best friends was Korean, so we used to eat a lot of Korean food. Like after school, I'd go to his house and eat tteokbokki and And
dude, have you had kimchi pancakes?
No,
I've had it all.
not.
I've had it all.
Not.
Ooh, bro.
Well, yeah,
kimchi pancakes.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had kimchi pancakes, but we ate a lot of other Korean treats, and I'm a big fan. So those two, sushi and Korean barbecue.
Brian, what's your jam besides whiskey? Because that doesn't count as a meal.
Dang, I gotta pick one thing.
What's your favorite? What's your go-to? Okay, what's your comfort food when you're like, man, this is a crappy week. I want to like kind of just get connected.
Peanuts.
Oof.
Peanuts?
That's what I was eating earlier.
That's a crosshair
Peanuts.
thing to
And
say.
Okay,
when
roasted,
I drive to Virginia,
salted.
when I drive to Virginia for work, they have delicious peanuts in Virginia. Just so you guys know,
Like the boiled
They
ones
have
that you eat and you
they
just
have
throw the
a
shell.
snap to them, a freshness that you wouldn't believe.
John's
But aside
face.
that, I'd say ramen. I love ramen, and we don't have it really here. I got to go to Charlotte for it, which is 40 minutes away.
Dude, ramen is like legit, midnight snack. I'm with you on that.
I mean, I just lump it in with Japanese food in general. Give me Japanese food. I'm happy camper.
Raimi, what's your
So torn between two choices. So on one hand, it would be Thai food. So like Thai food. And then on the other end of the spectrum, give me a good kind of southern barbecue joint. I travel to Atlanta for work a lot, and there's a barbecue place there that I will literally, every time I go there, I will go there at least once. I know my route. I've got it memorized from the airport into Fox Brothers Barbecue, and then on up to the hotel from there. So,
yeah,
it is Texas style. Yeah, it is
North
Texas
Carolina?
style.
Okay, all right.
When we go to Dragon
Zach, what
Con, we're
about
going to
you?
go, Brian. Yes,
Next year. Next year. I was serious
Wait a
FOMO this
second.
year.
So okay. Before Tech goes about his food,
It
are we
seems
doing
to have
Dragon
taken.
Con?
Yeah,
It seems to have taken on a life of
Go.
its own. I think we
Next
said
year.
it here, and then it
We're
got
doing
mentioned
it.
on a Facebook post, and it's just taken off. So I think
When is that?
It's
Book hotels
it,
next
it
week.
just happened.
When is that?
This
it
past
was last
weekend.
weekend.
So
It just
so
happened.
it's next year at this time.
Where's that at? Atlanta,
Atlanta,
Where's that
Georgia.
at?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Joe,
hot.
it's a huge party.
It's
Yeah.
like there's like a pool, right? Is that something else?
It's multiple
Yeah.
hotels.
Dude,
I've
I'm
seen
only
people in
wearing
costume.
nothing.
I don't
I'm
know.
going to wear a TK and that's it. I ain't wearing nothing else. Because it's too
Tech
hot.
with no
Let's
undersuit.
do it. TKs.
Dude, I'm already in a bikini. What are you talking about? All right. Sushi, bro. Sushi all day long. Sashimi, sushi, Japanese all day. With the good Japanese beer, crispy. Ooh.
Some Sapporo, nice
with a
dry
little
beer.
ice in it, like little crystallized.
Now we're talking. Okay, now here's a really good question. Tough question,
Should make a food
but
podcast.
good one that's deep. And this came from Mag_Pie Girl. Things you do to push yourself out of a rut. And I'm assuming this has to do with like building, maybe being creative. It could be even work related. Maybe you're just in that weekly funk and you're like, man, what's going on? So with that, what do you do?
I'll go. I say don't force it. You know what I mean? Maybe you need like with anything, you need to just take a break. Because sometimes if you force it, depends on what it is, but generally, you just kind of give yourself a step back.
Taking a
Come
step
back to
back
it
is
later.
good. Taking a step back is good. I usually look for influence like through my peers, like you guys or people I follow on Instagram. If I'm not feeling so creative, usually for props, like at work, I do it because I have to do it, and there's no way out of it. But
Right.
like prop stuff, like that, you're like, ugh, I don't want to paint this, or like I'm not feeling it. And I'll get in a rut like that. It happens. And yeah, I look at like you guys, or what are you guys working on? Or like some other people I follow on Instagram, like, dang, that looks so good. Like, all right, I got to, like I want to do something now, and that's how I get motivated.
I try and have multiple things that I could work on. That way I can move from one thing to another. And odds are each thing is at a different stage. So one of them might need painting, one of them might need sanding, I might need to sew. And so I can kind of bounce around between a few different projects at a time to break it up. And if I'm not feeling one, I'll just work on something else instead.
Raimi, do you think there's always something that's being worked on because you have so much going on? Or is there ever like a time where like, no, like for this month, I'm not doing
anything at all. I'm focusing on other things.
I have something going on constantly. That's kind of my nervous fidget is to have some kind of project that I'm working on. And so there's always something. And if I'm not working on it, I start to get twitchy. So, but again, I like my Workbench has got probably four entirely unrelated projects sitting on it in various stages of mess. So,
Steven?
I find I actually went through this exact thing like during 2020, like isolation, because like I had nothing to work on because
there was nothing going on.
There was no point.
No troops. No.
So I went in the garage and I was just like, there was a scout trooper, a biker scout thermal detonator that goes on the back of the belt. And it's like the most basic piece of kit you could work on. It's literally just like a plastic, ABS plastic shell that goes onto a hose with 2 end caps, right? But all I had to do on it was, and it sat on my Workbench for at that point at least 3 or 4 years.
Oh man,
and
years.
And so I just grabbed, and I was in that rut of not seeing all my friends, and there was just no motivational, juices flowing. And so I just started cutting that piece and started gluing and it, I had the thing done probably 15 minutes. But when I saw the completed piece sitting on the bench, it was like almost looking back at me, just like saying, hey, keep going. Yeah. And that little thing, just that little, just that little piece just kind of fed into some.
Sometimes that's all you need, like one little, like you don't have to work on a full kit, like because that's daunting on its own. But if you can
the
work
brown
on
box that's sitting behind Raimi.
But if you can work on one thing, and then you build up from there, because now you're motivated, or at least like, hey, this looks awesome, keep it going, So yeah, I get that, Steven. I feel you.
On the flip side too, though, it's like you guys. I mean, and not necessarily you guys, like in particular, but just different friend groups and build groups, and having the motivational support of like, hey, what are you guys working on? I mean, like we talked about in Workbench earlier, I almost got kind of in a rut. I got discouraged that I didn't get to work on anything this week, but hearing you guys complete all your stuff and seeing Raimi bust out a completed echo arm for his microphone,
That's crazy.
It's got me motivated. I want to get in the garage tonight.
That thing is amazing.
Little fire puncher.
Kudos.
I'm looking at my little tech glasses, and there's a little tech tier looking at your echo arm. It's beautiful.
Very nice.
We all put our own personal spin on ours, so I'm anxious to see what
I'm gonna redo
I want to see what Wrecker's going to do now. You need like a little bandana around yours, Sean.
That's not a bad idea, but I think I'm gonna do chrome, not gold. I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I might paint that too. Who knows?
Wrecker needs a
Lula,
a gonk droid hanging off his mic, like a big
or
gonk
just
droid.
just like paint the doll
with an arm sticking out, pushing it up, overhead presses.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Oh,
wow!
Challenge.
Now you have to deliver.
I was just going. I just wanted to go last so I could wreck all you guys.
No, nice.
I'm repainting.
Let's blow some stuff up.
Because sometimes I just want to blow stuff up.
I'm not scared.
Joe, do you have one? Joe, do you have another question?
That was it for now, man. But those questions came from Magpie Girl, Sort of Khalees, and Total_76. Oh yeah, I think this other one is 3D printing armor worth
BK? BK's question. That was
BK question. Yeah.
Nice.
Save that one.
We'll save that
to
one for
BK.
another show. Yeah, another show.
That's a full show, yeah, on that one.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. BK in the house. Yep. She's awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Yippers.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes,
What?
I'm Echo.
I love that. I love that.
Oh,
is that the intro for our new segment,
It is,
Steven?
man.
What was
Hold on.
oh.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes,
What?
I'm Echo.
Love that.
It worked better than I thought it would.
That is amazing.
Okay, so this is our new segment, Bad Dad Jokes.
Oh.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if anyone else did the homework. I mentioned this the other
I
day.
thought
So
this was a joke in
I
itself.
forgot.
so I've got one. All right, so
These have to be clean.
I
They have to be clean, right?
no, I'd say not necessarily. So I've got. I mean, mine's
yeah,
borderline. So we'll go from there. So I'll start us off. Okay, guys. So why was Darth Vader referred to as Lord Vader?
I don't know, Raimi. Why?
Because every time they called him Master Vader, the stormtroopers giggled. Thank you. Good night.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes, I'm Echo.
That's it.
I think that's the only joke for tonight.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Steven, just get that sound, the intro sound. Boom. That's like.
Yeah, but now you need to make 4 more because whoever tells a joke, it plays out with their.
Oh gosh.
That was good, Amy. I liked it.
Damn, that was a good one.
That's pretty
This
good.
isn't a dad joke thing, but someone sent me like a GIF that was like, "You've heard of Elf on a Shelf, but this is the new thing," and it's Darth Vader sitting on a potato. Vader on a tater.
On a tater.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that sound. Dude.
Slap at the base.
All right. So
That's a cool
so every
sound,
week, we need at least one. At least one. It doesn't.
I got you.
Can
All right,
listeners submit a dad joke?
You got one? You got one, Brian?
Heck
Okay.
yes.
That would be better.
Yeah.
I don't have
There you go.
Everybody knows how to get a hold of us one way or another.
Send us a dad joke.
Yes.
We will
Send-
read it on the show.
Send us your dad jokes.
Echo will read it on the show.
100%.
Oh, I like that,
100%.
yeah.
Oh god. Somebody will.
I think that does it for us today, guys. If you enjoyed listening to the show, feed that algorithm and leave us a review with 5 stars on your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our road to 1,000 contest is underway, and there is still time to enter. Just subscribe, and you can be entered to win an Alpha Ignition helmet of your choice, casted by the Dad Batch.
Are we close?
I think we're like in the 7s or something, 7s or 8s. It jumped up pretty fast. So,
Nice.
you can follow me at stevie.kicks on Instagram. Sometimes Twitter. Gentlemen, let the listeners know where they can follow you. John?
You can find me at LA Comic Con, whenever that is. First weekend of December 1st through 3rd, I believe. I'll be with my boys, hanging out. Come out and see us. We'll be there. High five us. Probably throw you a sticker or 2.
Lizzie Gang?
Maybe a little chili dog if you're lucky. Yeah.
He's throwing out chili dogs, people.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Chili glizzies.
Don't throw that out.
Brian?
You can catch me at the forest in a tree,
Sleeping in a tree as the deer run by.
taking a nap.
He
They're
sleeps
looking
and
up
walks
like, why
right
is
by.
he sleeping in this tree?
I can just,
Supposedly that has
I-
happened.
You know, snoring scares
I
them
can
away.
just see the deer
Yeah.
watching you like climb the tree and then wait till you get to the
They're
top
like, this idiot.
and then they leave.
Yeah.
They listen to the pod.
That's what happened today.
They're looking at him through their night vision goggles and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're
That's
like
what happened
this,
today.
dude.
I was like, I was like a little bit. I'll make it quick. I was a little bit late getting there, and I was like starting to climb the tree, and I was like 8 feet up, and they make like a snorting sound when they're in danger, and I heard them snort, and I was all, that's it, they're gone. And then I was like, I'm just getting
And
up
he
there.
was
Like
climbing up, right?
I was climbing up to sit. So then I sat for 2 hours and nothing ever came. End of story.
Brutal.
It's hard.
Ravi, where can listeners find you?
thedadbatch.com.
And Joe.
I echo.
Is there an echo in here?
Yes,
What?
I'm Echo.
Thank you again for listening to episode
67
of the Dad Batch podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode
68.
And until next time, enjoy your spice responsibly.
Glizzy gang.